Am I the asshole for refusing to pay for girl's wig after she shaved it because of me? There's this girl that lives in my uni halls. We're not roommates but we are flatmates. Let's name her Kaya, F, 19. I, F, 19, met her in September when we started university and moved into halls. We're not best friends but we are friendly. We don't really spend much time together. Over time, my friends noticed that Kaya tried to copy me in everything. It started slowly, accessories and some clothes. Nothing major. I didn't even notice until people started pointing it out to me. I have a rather distinct style and she started copying it. I don't know the style and she's free to wear what she likes but it's the exact same copies of my outfits which is very odd. But then, it started going further. I dyed my hair, she dyed her hair. I bought something for my room, she bought the same thing. I started chatting with a guy. She became obsessed with that guy to a point that whenever I had a male friend or guy the first was interested in over, she would go out of her way to try and get their attention, coming down to the kitchen in nothing but a towel, she never used to do it, etc. And she would do anything to attract attention. Now, don't get me wrong, I couldn't care less if the guy was looking and even if it was my boyfriend looking, I'd have a beef with him not her but the blatant attention-seeking behavior was just odd. I joined societies and sports and after she found out, she joined the same ones I did. Basically, everything I do, she copies eventually. It's just really creepy but I haven't said anything, I wouldn't even know what to say. Over the Easter break, my friend and I were at my family house, a bit drunk and decided to test out whether Kaya really copies everything I do. I made a post on social media about shaving my head. My friend does hairdressing and she helped me out faking shaved head and I posted a photo with shaved head. I deleted the photo few days later and forgot about this whole thing. After Easter break was over, we had uni exams and I was focusing on that. Imagine my shock when I came back and Kaya had shaved head. And she was pissed when she saw me. She started shouting how I lied to her and why would I do that. She went on and on and on, really angry. Admittedly, I ignored her and hid in my room. She sent me a text telling me that she expects me to pay for her wig as it's my fault she shaved her head. I replied that absolutely not, that it was not my fault and she decided on her own to do that. She kept attacking me over it every time I saw her. It's been a few days since I came back from Easter break. My exams start tomorrow and yesterday I received an email from my university, asking me for a meeting over the issue. She reported me to uni over something she's done. I am genuinely confused, was I really in the wrong? Am I the asshole for pretending to shave my head and refusing to pay for her wig? Not the asshole. You might want to talk to a lawyer for this meeting if it might be disciplinary in nature. I can't give you legal advice, but if it were me, I would certainly leave out the part about testing out whether Kaya really copies everything I do. I'd be more, while I did notice Kayla joining the same societies as me, dyeing her hair the same color, etc., I never imagined she would actually shave her head just because I did, or pretended to, on social media. I was just joking around with a hairdresser friend and posted it on Instagram. The post was not directed in any way towards Kayla. And as others have mentioned, I think this and her other actions, provide any documentation, shows that Kayla may be dangerously obsessed with me and I'm beginning to fear for my safety. Not the asshole but I'd be nervous if someone was that obsessed with me. Like I wouldn't feel safe around that individual at all. Not the asshole. Don't even tell them about her copying you. Just say you posted a fake bald pic of yourself on social media for fun, showed back up at school and your flatmate had shaved her head and was pissed at you. What could she possibly say to defend it? You didn't tell her you were shaving your head and even if you did, you didn't demand her to shave her head too. Edit. Wow, my comment blew up, thanks guys. Not the asshole but lawyer up. Get signed witness statements. Try and get times and dates. Show a pattern of behavior. When you come to the meeting try to grab the initiative by saying right away something like, "Thank for addressing the issue of her harassing of me so quickly. It's starting to affect my studies." Even without all the extra details, the meeting would be short. You posted a fake photo of a shaved head, and now this girl shaved her head. That isn't your responsibility. It's very creepy behavior and weird that she would report this, a normal person wouldn't. She needs help, and you need to stay away from her. Not the asshole. NTA. But at the meeting don't admit it was aimed at her. Just say you were clowning around on SM and that's all. Don't talk about her ever copying you. Am I the asshole for calling police on a neighbor after she keyed my car because of books I write? I am a single woman in my early 30s, making my living writing and self-publishing adult fiction. By adult fiction, I mean, adult fiction with majority of the plot being steamy. I don't typically tell people what I write, but I do tell them I write books for a living under a pen name, and if you're questioning my writing abilities, I have an editor to correct my mistakes. I am not hiding it per se, but I am not telling everyone I meet what I do for a living, and none of my neighbors knew, only a bunch of friends. I live in a house alone. Pretty much of all my neighbors are either young families or retired couples. My next door neighbor is a young couple. We've been polite to each other but haven't been close or anything. Lately, the husband, let's call him Roger, became very friendly towards me, which I tried to ignore, but he's been getting too flirty for my liking, and I started avoiding him. They had a barbecue over the bank holiday weekend, and I was taking rubbish out to put in my bin. Roger looked at me, waved, hi, and whispered something to his friend, and they both watched me very carefully, which was incredibly creepy. On my way through my garden, I saw Roger's wife, Dahlia, leaving the house with her friend, and they both looked at me with disgust and whispered something to each other. It was weird, and I hurried back inside. The next morning, I found some religious leaflets put through my letterbox. They were just printed on normal printer paper and were warning about lustful behavior leading to hell, etc. Threw them away, but kept finding similar leaflets put through my letterbox for the next week. Since I am working from home, I decided to see who's leaving those leaflets, and to my surprise, it was Dahlia. I decided to confront her and ask to stop putting religious leaflets through my door. Despite me being polite, she was not happy. She told me that I should rethink my life because what I write is disgusting, it's pretty vanilla, and she found her husband reading it at night, and you can imagine doing what. She kept going on and on how I am going to burn in hell, how I have no morals, etc. Well, I told her to stay away from me and discuss this with her husband, and I closed the door in her face. Don't know who, but someone told them what I do for a living. A day later, I found the word SLT painted on my door. A few days later, I caught her keying my car. She was almost done with the word WHRE. Well, I called the police on her, and since I installed cameras after the SLT incident, she is being taken to court over keying my car. I talked to my other neighbor. She asked about the police, about it, and she told me that I went overboard. That Dahlia was clearly insecure, but she's a lovely woman and great mother, and I should have talked to her instead of calling the police and give her a chance to change her behavior. Am I the asshole for calling the police and not giving Dahlia a chance? Not the asshole when people harass you and commit crimes against you, you call the police. Absolute zero shades of gray in that. Edit. Genuinely didn't realize the pun in this until everyone mentioned it. If she's keying your car and painting rude names on your door, she is not a lovely woman. Just because she doesn't like what you write doesn't give her the right to destroy your property. It appears that the behavior was escalating, so getting the police involved was necessary. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You did talk to Dahlia. You did give her a chance. And she upped the game to keying your car. I'd be worried that talking to her again would just get her to up her game further, to violence, or more vandalism. Not the asshole. She's not a lovely person, she's an insecure freak who pushes her beliefs onto others. If she really wanted to correct this behavior, she would have started with her husband. Her reasoning for being upset has nothing to do with you and shouldn't have led to the extreme of vandalizing your things. If anything, start sending leaflets to Dahlia about how wrath is a sin and will lead her to hell as well. Not the asshole. Dahlia committed a crime. You called the police. That was the appropriate response. She started out by gossiping about you, then by giving you leaflets. Then moved on to defacing your property. Her behavior was clearly escalating. You did the right thing to protect yourself before her behavior escalated any further. Hopefully she will get help. Not the asshole. If your neighbor wants to play big girl games, she gets to win big girl prizes. Don't vandalize people's property and you won't end up in court. Maybe she should be more concerned about what your pretty vanilla books are giving her husband that she's not, if it's that deep, because she sounds kind of like a prude woman shrugging medium dark skin tone. Am I the asshole for taking away my daughter's bedroom and giving it to my son? I, M 32, have a daughter Harper, F 14, from a previous relationship. I have full custody and her mom is not involved in her life. 5 years ago I married my wife Nina, F 31. We tried to have a child but couldn't. We went to the doctor and turned out I can't have any more kids due to some complications. We decided to use an sperm donor and the result was a son, Mark, who was born a few months ago. The problem started when Nina got pregnant. Harper wasn't happy about it. When Mark was born, things got worse. Before this, Harper and I used to spend 2 days a week together. Just the two of us without my wife, but after Mark was born I couldn't do that anymore. I can't just leave my wife alone for 2 days a week with a newborn, and Harper has been very angry about it. The main problem started 3 days ago. Nina and I decided to make a nursery for Mark instead of having him in our bedroom for multiple reasons. Our home has 4 bedrooms, 2 master bedrooms at one side and 2 bedrooms at the other side. One of the master rooms is ours, the other one is Harper's. It was very hard for Nina and I to go to the other side of the home multiple times at night when Mark wakes up, so I asked Harper pack her stuff and go to one of the bedrooms so that we could give her room to Mark. At first everything seemed alright. She said okay and went to her room and started packing, but less than an hour later my brother showed up at our home, asking for Harper. She had called him and asked him to take her. She came out of her room with her stuff, told me, "You can give it to your son now," and left with my brother. I told her she could only go for one night, but it has been 3 days and she is not back and won't even talk to me. I am receiving calls from my family all calling me an asshole and other names. I don't trust their judgment, they very clearly favor Harper. She was the first grandchild in our family and everyone's favorite. Also, they are trying to accept Mark as my son, but I could see that they haven't been able yet, so I decided to post here and get some unbiased opinions. Am I the asshole? You are the asshole. You really can't take the 15-20 extra steps. How big can your hallway possibly be? 1. You told your daughter you no longer have the time to spend with her because of the new baby. 2. You kicked her out of her room because of the new baby. Didn't talk to her about it. Just told her to pack her bags. What you have done? You have continually shown your daughter that your son is more important than her, and you have all but ensured that she will hate her brother for years to come because of your actions. Congratulations. You are the asshole. Info. Why does a newborn baby need a master bedroom? Have you tried spending any time with your daughter or talking to her about changes at all? Edit. That last paragraph is weird. Now Harper is at fault? You are the asshole for so many reasons. Having a baby is an adjustment for family. You didn't ask Harper to adjust. You told her you won't give her time and then you took her room. Asshole isn't a strong enough adjective in this instance. Harper did the best thing, which was to leave you with your new life since she went from important to insignificant. Epic fail, Dad, epic fail. Why can't you move your stuff to one of the bedrooms and Mark's to a nearby one? You are the asshole. You have flopped this teenager's life upside down, ended something that was special for her, and then unceremoniously dumped her out of her room to stick your new baby in there. How the fuck is she supposed to feel? You could have put your bedroom on the other side of the house or just adulted up and realize that you have 2 kids now and sometimes you do things that are inconvenient for you for their sake. Shit. You could have made it exciting by giving Harper the 2 bedrooms on the other side of the house and made it a thing for her to get new bedroom stuff and maybe decorate the other room like a living room for her. For a moment I wondered if this was even real, for how absolutely dumb it sounds for you to genuinely be in shock. Am I the asshole for laughing at my sister when she told me to control my woman? My wife, Mina, enjoys dressing up. Her style is very feminine and she's always dolled up even to go shopping. She's always glowing and is very confident in her appearance. She looks good and she knows it. My sister, Betty, believes in traditional ideas of masculinity and femininity. Women are meant to stay home with the children while the men are meant to provide for the household. We talk when we have to, but I try to avoid her. Each time we see Betty, she'll manage to slip a comment about my wife's outfit. She'll either comment on how ladylike it is, or how slutty it looks. Mina always rolls her eyes and laughs it off. I don't think the comments bother her, but I try to tell Betty to mind her own business. Betty invited us for dinner to celebrate her pregnancy. On the invitation, she stated that the dress code was formal. She didn't mention a certain color or style of clothing, only that you had to dress formally. Mina wore this dark green suit that fit her very well. I'm 100% certain that it fit the dress code. It was formal, nothing revealing or outlandish, and I thought she looked good. When Betty opened the door, I could see the look of disgust on her face when she saw Mina. The first thing she asked was her, very condescendingly, "Are you really wearing that?" Mina only smiled and replied, "Yes." Throughout the night, I could tell Betty was talking about Mina to my family. I could see her point and laugh, or whisper something in someone's ear, or make a face anytime Mina walked by. At one point, Betty joked about Mina wearing the pants in the marriage, leaving me to wear all the pink, frilly dresses. Mina is too masculine, leaving me to be the wife in the relationship. As distasteful as those jokes were, Mina asked me to not make a big deal. After we had all eaten, Betty stood up to make a toast. At first, her speech started off well. It was sweet. However, near the end, Betty decided to throw passive-aggressive comments towards Mina. I'm sure I don't remember all of it, but she essentially said, "It's going to be hard raising my daughter in a world where women want to act and dress like men." All while making direct eye contact with Mina. The devil often hides in the people that are closest to us, and if you can spot him, don't let him in your house. During that entire section of her speech, her eyes never left Mina. Before the end of the speech, Mina stood up from the table and left, and I followed her. I got a bunch of texts from my Bill, scolding me for leaving in the middle of my sister's speech. Betty called me, calling me rude for leaving while she was speaking and not controlling my hot-headed wife. When I heard this, I laughed and hung up the phone. That led to more texts. When I told Mina, she laughed, but suggested I apologize, but in an effort to make this whole thing blow over. Edit. Forgot to add, reposted because I went over the word count the first time. Not the asshole. Your sister is a misogynist who tries to impose her rigid stereotypes onto others. I wouldn't apologize for shit because she was disrespectful as hell. You should walk around with zero fucks because your sister gave zero fucks when she decided to be passive-aggressive. Do not apologize. You had to support your wife. She left in the middle of your sister's speech for good reason. You had to leave with her to show your support for your wife. Because a man supports his wife. If you didn't agree with your wife, you would have broached the subject in private instead of making a public statement by not following your wife when she left. Your sister wants you to back her up, see the light, whatever. But, according to the traditional views she's supposed to follow, you as the husband are not allowed to publicly disrespect your wife. Source. I'm fundamental Baptist, and while I and my family are not nearly as strict as your sister is, I've been exposed to that idea all my life. Not the asshole. Not the asshole who invites their family to dinner and requires formal dress. Where you dining with the Queen? As for the rest, your sister is a bitter shrew. And the fact that your family tolerates her acting like a 14-year-old mean girl is pathetic. You don't owe anyone apology. Not the asshole. You and Mina sound awesome, and OMG, the green suit sounds epic. Don't bow to the misogyny and sexist bullshit that has been ingrained into your family. Mother biggest issue they will have raising a daughter is how badly they will try and mess her up and stuff her down into their small view of what it means to be a woman. Not the asshole. Cut your sister off. It's better for you and your wife's mental health. Also, your sister reeks of jealousy. Not the asshole. Your sister is insane and deserved much more than being laughed at. And kudos to your wife for having so much patience.